Today's fresh music.
The new Fresh.
102.7.
The new Fresh 102.7, today's fresh music. And with us in our fresh studios, we keep it fresh because it's so cool in here.
Dude. It's
cool.
actually very cold in here.
Yeah, well, that's how we keep it fresh.
refreshing.
Exactly.
And
Refrigerated.
mint tea.
Minty.
All fresh.
Well, what are you drinking there?
Some sort of mint tea that you guys brought me, which is awesome.
We have a
I really
fine
appreciate it.
selection. We come over with the box, like in the restaurant. It's
Awesome, dude.
Josh Kelley's here. Great to have you here.
Dude, thanks for having me, bro.
Josh, you just treated us to some music, and we're going to be playing some of that on our Acoustic Sunrise show.
Got the new
We're in
single
Fresh.
in there.
Yeah,
Good.
real cool, which is from the Olympic soundtrack.
Yeah, man. It's just one of those weird things that just sort of happened out of the blue when I was, just kind of bumming around one summer. And next thing you know, we got a call from, some kid who had contacted us through MySpace who said, hey, man, I really want, Josh to come sing for me, me and my girl when I proposed to her. And I was like, well, that's a little weird. I don't know if I'm going to do that.
Yeah, right.
But then I started thinking about it, and I was like, you know what? I would have wanted that to happen for me because I had just gotten engaged. And I was like, if I wanted somebody to do that for me, I would have liked for them to have said yes. And so I did it. I said yes, and I played Home to Me for them, right after she said yes. And next thing you know, the guy calls me up 6 months later, and he's like, Josh, by the way, I'm putting all the music together for the 2008 Olympics. And he goes, I put you first on the list.
It was the same guy?
Same guy.
How weird
Total
is
karma,
that?
dude. So
Because you would think, okay, he must have some great agent. He must have some great people who hooked him up with this, and it was just a complete...
No, he's just one of those guys. He's a clever guy who's really talented, and he was hired to be the guy who puts the Olympic soundtrack together.
But so many of your breaks have come through the internet in one way or the other.
Absolutely.
I mean, you are kind of like a child of the internet.
Yeah, I mean
your whole
Napster.
career.
The guys from Napster still kind of chase my career around a little bit.
Really?
You know what I mean? Yeah. They bring me like old school stickers from like back in the day when I got signed from Napster pretty
Right.
much. I mean, my first album, really, I got signed in 2002 because I was spam mailing people through Napster before they even knew that there was such a thing as like instant message through Napster.
So you were like way ahead of the curve. Now everybody's
I was sort of the
doing stuff like
pioneer,
that.
I guess, of promoting your stuff via like blog like things. I mean, remember there was mp3.com for a while,
Right?
And you could people could buy an album, whatever, and it was basically just a burned CD from
Right,
a
right.
website,
So
It was cool.
how do you think that's changed the whole music industry? For the better, for the worse, or just different?
I think there are two ways to look at it. I think, and they're both right. I mean, really, it's changed it for the better in a way that there's great music out there, and people who have great music who don't have the financial means can still get their music out there, and people can still hear it, and it's going to get to way more ears than it used to. The problem right now that we're dealing with is that we don't want the younger generation who are coming up right now to believe that music should be free, because it shouldn't be free.
Right. There's got to be some
It's an
value
art
to
form.
it.
It's like if you go to the internet and you download a Picasso, you can print off that Picasso painting, but you're not going to get his brushstrokes. But if you download, somebody's song, you're going to actually get their brushstrokes because you get the guitar tones, you get the vocal tones. It sounds the same as if you bought the original. And that's the only problem, is that like our art can be pirated,
Mm-hmm.
And so we're trying to make sure that like people don't that people still let their kids know that like music should not be free. It's
Right.
it's
That
an
there
art
is
form.
value to it.
There's an
definitely.
absolute value to it.
And
for
people
sure.
work hard at putting it together.
Yeah.
Let me talk about your process of putting your music together. And you have the new album, Backwoods, which is, you've said, sort of something for the fans. That
Yeah.
it's kind of a going back to what people were hearing back on
Yeah, it's
Napster.
like when I was a younger kid. kind of
Yeah.
thing, you know what I mean?
So when you approached this, did you try and put yourself in the mindset that you were back then, or is it just using that kind of a sound with your sensibility to
I
it?
think you kind of accidentally do kind of go back there a little bit. I mean, the music sort of creates such a visual that even when I was making it, I was kind of thinking about like the hayfield and stuff. But I grew up on a farm, so it's easy to think about bush hogging a bunch of land.
Right.
Yeah, and cleaning cow dung.
Yeah, I don't know about that.
Yeah,
city
pretty
boy.
nasty.
I can imagine.
Yeah, man. I mean, this record just sort of, it was for the fans. I mean, that's the whole idea. It came from just repeated multiple fans coming up going, Josh, when are you going to make an acoustic album? I was like, I guess I'm going to make it when I get home. And so I have a studio in Los Angeles, and when I went home from the last tour, I just put together my favorite songs, old songs and new songs, and made an acoustic record. I had my buddy Eric Curtis come over and play upright bass and played a bunch of mandolin, some banjo, a bunch of old gospel harmonies. It turned out way better than I thought it was going to turn out.
And what's kind of weird, well, I don't know if it's weird, but it's a strange juxtaposition is that just as you're coming out with this CD, Backwoods, and it's kind of the stripped down thing, then you go and touring with Rod Stewart, which is like bigger than life. How does
I just
that
like to
work
put music out. I mean, this year I will have put out 3 albums by October, from February to October, just because I think it's like I write every day, and I feel like I don't want they're like little kids, man. I don't want them to be like left behind,
Yeah.
So I just put it out, and I think my fans like it better having the content.
Are the fans enjoying the tour right now?
Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah. No, we've been getting a lot of great fan response, and people are taking videos with their cameras and like sticking them on YouTube, and they love the fact that I go through there and find their videos and I put them on MySpace and stuff like that, and so that it's like gives them a reason to actually want to go out there and put those videos up and like share it with the world, So it's cool. I love it. Rod Stewart, 19,000 people. Are you kidding me? This is like the best tour ever.
So are these the biggest crowds you've ever played in front of?
These are I toured with Dave Matthews in 2004, and those were really big crowds too. I don't know which crowd had more. I mean, I think they're about the same.
Do you enjoy playing
20,000 people? A lot of people.
I mean, do you enjoy big crowds, or people always say you hear artists.
I love them,
but you hear artists say, "Oh, I really love the stripped down shows." And but there's got to be some sort of a charge getting up there on stage.
No. There's more of a charge in front of a lot of people. I would rather play in front of thousands and thousands of people. That's why I do what I do, and that's why I try to entertain when I'm on stage.
How's your music different when you're in front of a big crowd?
It's just more entertaining. It's not quite as songs. I mean, it's nice and laid back, but I mean, we love to be on stage, and me and my whole band, like we're brothers. You know what I mean? And we're cut ups, and so we're just we just do our thing and and get a little rowdy at the same time. So it's all good though, man. It's definitely more of a rock show live than it is on an album.
You mentioned that, you started playing way back down south, and you were 11 years old when you started?
Yeah, I was about 10 or 11. I started playing drums. My mom is a drummer. So
drums?
She taught me how to play the drums.
And now, so you moved then, to guitar and then piano? I know you play a lot of
yeah, and I went from drums to guitar, and I was learning piano pretty much the same time, and then picked up the bass, and I've just been learning a lot of different instruments ever since.
Was music just always the plan in your life, or?
It was definitely always the biggest passion, you know. And then once I realized that I could do it for a living, then I put a plan together. So my dad always says that if you don't have a plan, then you're planning to fail.
Well, you're planning to succeed. Obviously,
I'm trying to.
Well.
Yeah, well, I'm trying to, man. Slow and steady wins the race, and I'd kind of like to have a James Taylor kind of career. You know what I mean? Where I just keep inching up the ladder and keep on writing songs and getting better, year in, year out, and we'll see what happens, man.
Yeah, I mean that's what's great about your career is that there's a build to it, and it's not one of these all of a sudden you're out there and then it's done in 15 minutes. So
I still got my hair, so
as long as
I've got that on James Taylor. Sorry, James.
And your wife digs your music too.
Oh, she loves it, man. She loves it. She's my biggest fan, and also
she's one of my better critics.
Right? Yeah.
I mean, the honeymoon's over technically, right? It's been, 2 years?
No. Oh, well, no. It hasn't even been a year since we've been married.
Oh, really? Okay.
We've been married.
But you've been together
We've been together now for like 3.5 years, something like that.
Right.
Yeah. So, no, I mean, I don't know. We keep on rekindling our honeymoon period. So we're pretty good at that.
Oh, that's good to hear.
Especially, with me going off on the road for like 3 weeks or whatever. And I come back, it's like really fresh and brand new again, so it's nice.
But you're both performers, so I think you can at least relate, even though one is acting and one is.
Oh, totally,
music.
Totally. I mean, sometimes you can relate better because you're not griping about, the different things to each other that your job. You know what I mean? You relate more, but it's different. You know what I mean? So it gives each other a little sense of a little extra passion.
Does it affect your songwriting?
For the better.
Yeah.
Yeah, totally, absolutely. I mean, I just. If I'm writing a song, about somebody who's gorgeous, I'm telling the truth, man. I'm writing a song.
Yeah, everybody knows you're telling the truth about that.
My girl is gorgeous.
But I mean, I guess people could argue, well, you know what I mean? He can't do the blues thing because he's not miserable. He's so happy and he's having a great time.
You don't have to be miserable to play anything. You don't have to. You don't have to be in that certain state of mind. I mean, I love to play the blues just to sit down and relax. It's relaxing to play it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? To get in there and just get in there and get nasty with it anytime you want. I mean, right now I feel like we're pretty happy. We can get on down there if we want to, you know.
That's great. Well, we enjoyed even the little blues riff you did there. We enjoyed the music before, and we appreciate your coming by. If you didn't get a chance to see Josh at Jones Beach and PNC Bank Arts Center over the last couple of days, you still have a chance in Atlantic City on Saturday.
Oh, that's right.
Sunday.
Yeah, we're going to do 2 shows in Atlantic City. And I'm going to get my tour manager to take my wallet out of my back pocket. put it somewhere.
Yeah, maybe.
I can't find it for 2 days.
Yeah, stay away from that. Well, anyway, Josh Kelley, thanks a lot for joining us.
Appreciate it, brother.
We really appreciate it.
Man. Thanks a lot, guys.
It's the new Fresh 102.7.